Okay, I wanted to go ahead and show you a couple things that I ended up doing to get out the two seals that are on the side of the shifting fork shaft. Now, let me get a flashlight here. Okay, so what we have here, this is two pieces here. There's a outer ring. Let me set this down. There's an outer ring. This is the outer ring, the metal one. And what this is this is a holding piece for the rubber boot that ends up covering in the shifting fork shaft that runs through here. So there's this, which is by itself, which is a ring, and then behind it is the actual seal for the shifting shaft. And what I ended up doing on the other side to go ahead and make this happen was I ended up making up, let's see if I can get this right here. Now what this is this is just a bolt with a washer that I ground down that's just slightly smaller than the opening here. So this ends up sticking in like this. I'm going to move my hand out of the way. And what it does is it ends up resting on the channel that's in there, that normally that's where the rubber boot is. And what I end up doing is you end up taking a torch. In this case I'm using a benzomatic torch with the whatever, it's like a benzoprene or some kind of gas in here. It's not propane, it's a different setup. And then of course the nozzle. Now the reason I know that is I have a propane bottle with a propane let me show you, with a propane end on it, and that works fine when you have a bottle of propane like this. So if you have something like this end right here, this is for propane, and this is a propane bottle. So it's propane fuel, and this nozzle works with this propane. This nozzle does not work with the blue gas. I tried. What it does is it lights, but as soon as you tilt the can down, it goes out. Light out, light out. I mean, I must have done it 50 times. And then I went to the hardware store and bought this specific nozzle because it says it's recommended for the blue bottle of this benzomatic stuff, and that works great. And it's got its own little self-starter. But again, if you're not used to doing heating up stuff to try to get it apart, which funny enough, over all the years of doing, working on stuff, I never had to heat stuff up, but it seems like lately my projects, especially with this truck, I've had to do that to get stuff out. So the idea here is you take whether it's propane or this, and you heat up around the seal. That's okay because we're getting rid of the old seal, and this is just metal, so it won't hurt if you heat it up. So heat it up around it. I do it for just a little over a minute. About a minute and 15 seconds is all it took, and just gently going around in a circle, heating it up. And then what you do is you take the shifting shaft, which is here. You can see the little notches. Those little notches, by the way, are on the bottom, and they index this shaft as it goes back and forth, and the top notch is for the shifting fork. And so as you move your PTO lever back and forth, it rides along that bearing that we looked at earlier, this guy here, and kind of indexes itself as it goes along. So, but we're going to use this shaft, and my shaft already had a bolt on the end of it, a little washer, and then I added a 3/4 inch bolt, or a washer, excuse me, 3/4 inch washer to keep this thing from, I did it this way the first time, keep it from shooting out, because even though this is metal, if it lands wrong, or this is concrete floor, it could theoretically bend it just enough, or maybe mess up the tip of it just enough so that it wouldn't slide in and out properly, and then of course that would wear your seals and things would go really bad. So what we're going to do is, after we heat up that one side, I'm going to slide this in like so, until it hits that bolt on this side. And of course, this by then it'll be all heated up. And a couple whacks, and that ground out washer will catch the lip and pop that right out. And then for the seal that's behind it, because I told you this is a two-part thing, I'll show you what I did with that after I knock out this thing, and show you how I got the seal out. So that way you can use what you have on hand, and you don't have to go buy special, seal pulling equipment or tools, or take it to a shop and have them press out those seals for you. So you could do this right in your shop just with a torch and with what I'm going to show you and what I've shown you already. So stand by. I'll go ahead and get this first ring out, and then we'll go from there. Alright, that went really smooth. Now we're going to do part 2. Now what I've got here is I've got 2 1/4-inch standard SAE washers. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to slide them behind the rubber seal on the seal. The rubber part of the seal, I guess. And I'm going to use 2 of them, and they're going to cross over each other to give each other equal strength when I tap on it. So let me see if I can do this without being too, I don't know. I'm going to have to go ahead and set this down. Sorry. I don't know if you can see that, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this 1/4-inch washer behind the rubber part, and then slide it over like so. So you can see how it's a little bit off center. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with washer number 2, but it'll be on the other side. Screwdriver to kind of help that in. Come on, you. There we go. It's not cooperating. The other one went right in. Stand by. This'll work. I already did it. It would probably help if I could see what I was doing. I hate having to wear glasses. Sorry about all that. Like I said, I'm not a camera guy, so I don't always have the best luck with camera stuff. Try this again. There's room back there. I just got to get it to go in. That's all. There we go. I had too much of an angle, I think. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now what we've got in there is we have 2 washers that I push to each side, and you can see that there's they overlap in the center, which is exactly what you want, so that when you run the shifting fork shaft down there, you get equal pressure. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to heat it up for about a minute, give it a couple taps, and that should send that seal flying. I'm going to experiment here. I'm going to just leave the camera on and see what happens. All right. You don't need it to be real high heat. In fact, I turned it pretty low. And I'm looking at my watch, so I'm going to do this for about a minute. Just kind of heating up all around it. You can see that my flame isn't too much. It doesn't need a lot. It just needs some just to kind of help it on the way out. Maybe grab a cup of coffee in the next 30 seconds. Have a donut. Or in the world of video, I could edit tension is building. I can feel it. Will it work? Can he do this? Is he actually brilliant, or is he just completely stupid? Yeah, kind of both. Alright, about 5-10 seconds. Alright, well, let's see what happens, huh? So like I said, I'm going to take the shaft and shove it in from the other side. Let's give it a couple good whacks, see what happens. Well, look at that. It came right out. Brilliant, man, brilliant. No special tools required. Just use what you got. And there it is. It's still pretty hot, but that's what the seal looks like. Nothing special, but like I said, they do press that in. I imagine they probably go ahead and a lot of times they cool these things, and then they go in a lot easier, and then once they warm up, they seal. So there it is. Okay, so that was the last real big hurdle on this. You can see that I got it tied down pretty well. I got 2 clamps and then a bungee just in case anything goes wacky. It'll pull it back toward the bench. But that's it. And then it's just a question of putting all the seals and gaskets back in. So there it is.